Today we have some really great news. We just finished the Sabbath celebration here in Israel. I open up my phone and I discover that during the Sabbath here in Israel, one of the most heroic hostage rescue missions have just taken place, and that we now have four more hostages released out of Gaza, out of the grip of Hamas in the heart of the Gaza Strip. So in central Gaza, there's a place called Nuseirat village. It's just north of the Rafah community area, where the whole world is up in arms about that. We need to not go in there. The IDF needs to stay out of there. And ever since we have entered Rafah, what we have discovered are incriminating tunnels leading to Egypt. We have discovered incriminating information about um, the United Nations and their involvement in more involvement in the support of terrorism and the support of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. In other words, the dirty laundry is being laid out in front of the world's eyes. And that's exactly why so much international pressure has been preventing us from going in there. But ever since we've gone in there, guys, ever since we have started our missions in that region, in the last stronghold of Hamas in the Gaza Strip, we have now been able to uncover and to bring to surface the hostages that are being held on top of it all. And so that is the good news, is that thanks to our operations, thanks to all the multi operations that are being carried out in the Gaza Strip right now, as we're speaking, that now former hostages have been released. So one of the most exciting news as to who one of the hostages are is what everybody is talking about right now, of course, because she's been the most publicized since the October 7th attack. She was the young girl carried off by motorcycle, and the terror on her eyes, the horrors of what she had just seen at the Nova Festival that she had been attending, and the murdering and the butchering of her own friends, and the thinking probably that's going through her mind as you saw those last snapshots and that last footage of her being carried away in horror was that this is going to be happening to me as they're taking me into captivity, right? They're just going to do it over there. They're just going to do it over there in Gaza. For 8 months, this young girl has been going through hell on earth. Her mother has been battling cancer here in Israel, hoping that she will survive long enough to see her daughter again. And thanks to God and to the special forces community here in Israel that have been fighting very, very hard to restore this girl back to her mother. Of course, all the 120 hostages that still remain in Gaza, but this girl in specific, this was the trophy of Hamas. This young girl, her name is Noa Argamani. Okay, Noa Argamani was the poster girl, so to speak, of the October 7th attack. She was the face that everybody recognized, everybody's seen published all over the world, with the Asian features, because her mother is Chinese and her father is an Israeli from Israel, normal Israeli. Um, and now she's back home. Now she's back. Her and the three other men that were rescued by supernatural means. I'm telling you guys, I've been going through the intel. I've been going through all the information that's been coming my way. There's lots of talk and there's lots of things that can be said about this, and lots of things that should be said about this. But what I can tell you and what I can make public, and what I know is public information, is that the mission was conducted with special forces units, especially the Yamam unit. They were the spearhead unit of this mission. And unfortunately, Arnon Zamora is one of the casualties from this mission. He was one of the team leaders of the Yamam units that went in to conduct these missions. Two different separate homes, two separate facilities where the hostages were held. The three men were held in one place, Noah in the other place. in the Gaza community there. And what happened was that simultaneously these units split off, conducted their simultaneous hostage rescue mission in the daylight, in the heart of Gaza, in the middle of the day. Okay. This was an incredible mission, guys. I'm telling you, from my research and everything I know about hostage rescue and everything I've read and everything that I'm aware of, this nothing like this has happened before, guys, in the history of hostage rescue missions. In the heart of the enemy, with terrorists every corner, under you, around you, in the tunnels, you name it. And the minute the hostages were taken into safety and the convoy was making their way out of the heart of Gaza there, like I said, it was right in central Gaza is where this took place, just north of Rafah. And all of a sudden, terrorists opened fire from all directions, gunfire, RPG, you name it. The convoy came under extremely heavy fire. And then I can't give too much details, but what I can tell you is that the hostages were taken to safety and then air evacuated out of the hell that opened up in the heart of Gaza. And then the operators who conducted the hostage rescue mission, these operators, they remained in the heart of Gaza until another secondary forces could come in that were on ready in this event that could have, they knew could occur, of course, that they would come under heavy fire. Once the hostages were safe, you have the other forces that came in and just evaporated the terrorists, and were able to get out of Gaza immediately and out of that gun battle that just ensued right after. So in heavily armed and protected area of Gaza by Hamas, the military and the special Yamam unit and the Shabak and all those involved were able to conduct one of the most incredible hostage rescue missions in modern times. And all day, Israelis have been celebrating, those that don't keep Shabbat and have been reading the news and have been following the news. And then those of us who have been keeping Shabbat since past 8 o'clock tonight, roughly around 8:30 p.m., those of us who've been keeping Shabbat had been privy to get this wonderful news and information as we just said goodbye to the Sabbath and welcome the new week, and to welcome the new week with this amazing news. So I wanted to share this with you all around the world as the world is looking at this conflict that's happening here in Israel. And as I've been privileged to be able to do this video and not be in Gaza right now, because my unit is, of course, deployed in and out of Gaza constantly. We just carried out our own missions and operations as we do all the time. So I've been privileged to be home with my family and to be able to share this news with my family, but also for us to mourn for the lost Special Forces member of our community who had bravely fought and laid down his life, just as all those other men that were there laid down their lives to rescue these hostages, to bring back the captives back to their families, and for them to be able to see their loved ones again after 8 months of hell in Gaza. So we salute the brave officer that had been shot and killed in this mission, this incredible rescue mission, laid down his life, and all the other men that were with him. And we salute them. We thank them for their service and for their bravery. And thanks to their service, we have more people back home with their families. And we pray that they will have a swift recovery mentally, emotionally, physically from all that they have been through, the hostages. and that they can restore their lives again and get back to their loved ones and get back to living their lives in a normal fashion, is normal as possible, of course, because you can't even imagine what 8 months in hell can do to a human being. I don't wish this on anybody. And I'm so grateful that we were able to restore 4 more hostages. And I remember the last time we had restored hostages back to Israel, my unit was conducting missions in the Gaza Strip, and we were privileged to be able to see those guys training and getting ready for that mission, and just to know that you're in the vicinity of these operators, just in their vicinity, and knowing that you're just playing a small part in the greater role of the this war in Gaza, that every one of us are doing our part, and it just feels like you're being part of history. And we look forward to seeing the 120 remaining hostages, being restored to their families, and that we'll be privileged to be able to see that happen swiftly, because this needs to come to an end, both for Israel and for the Gazans. The Gazans, yes, have been living in a lot of hell, but it's about time that they give up our hostages and get on with their lives. And that's all that it takes, is that they give us back what is ours, and then we can move on. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this report. I hope you've enjoyed this news update from Israel, and I hope you're excited as I am to hear these wonderful news. And may we be able to hear more good news coming out of this horrible war that is happening here in Israel. And may God bless you guys, and have a good new week and a new month here from Israel. Shalom.